These people are very skilled in deception and manipulation. This is a business. They know what they're doing, and it can happen to anyone. Good morning, everyone. I'm Destiny Dawn, and this is the Destiny Dawn Show. Today, we're talking about what if you have been lured by a predator. I want you to know that if this has happened to you, all is not lost. You can recover. And the number one thing I want you to know is you do not have to be ashamed. You do not have to be embarrassed. These people are very skilled in deception and manipulation. This is a business. They know what they're doing, and it can happen to anyone. Things happen sometimes whenever we get in a vulnerable state or a needy state, or we can, if we're ever in pain, or, we're just in a confusing place in our life, we can become very vulnerable to these things. There's all kinds of reasons that something like this can happen to a person. So there's no reason to be embarrassed. I believe in education, not condemnation. So we really just need to be educated on these things. And that's why I did a video about warning signs of predators for you to know if you're in a relationship or your loved one is in a relationship where you might be being lured into a trap for that person's benefit and for your harm. Of course, we know not all relationships are bad, but we want to be in good, healthy relationships. And so I did a video on how to know if you are in a bad relationship. But if you have been lured away, just know that, this is what I like to say. What happened, happened. Who I was existed. And own it. Own it and move on from it, and go and let your mistake be a testimony and something that you can help someone else. You can help someone else. You can prevent it from happening to someone else by sharing your story, going out there talking, doing a YouTube channel, talking at your church, talking in groups, and let people know about this. Let them know how. Write your story. Just write it down and let people know. This is what I was thinking, and this is what was happening to me, and this is how it happened. And tell them how your mind was thinking and how this came about, to share it with them, to prevent it. Let it mean something. The pain is not for nothing. You went through that experience for a reason. Let it be an experience that you can use. Don't let it be for nothing. Use that experience and what it has taught you to share it with others, to prevent it from happening to them. And if it has happened to them, to be an encouragement to them, to let them know that they're not alone, that you know how they feel, that you've been where they've been, that you walked that same path. When I was 16 years old, I got pregnant, and I was a Christian, and my boyfriend, who's now my husband, was a Christian too. And we were known as the Christians at school. And so it was embarrassing, and it was something that we never, I never wanted to happen. I was trying very hard for that not to happen. And, I was trying very hard to live a pure life and to wait till I was married and all those things. And so instead of running from it, I immediately ran back to God, and I owned it. And I said, what happened, happened. Who I was existed. And now I'm going to own it. And now I'm going to share it with other people, how to not, let that happen to them. And if it does, to be there for them. And actually, one day when I was sharing my testimony, I had actually put it on a CD back when there were CDs, and I handed it out at church, and I decided not to be embarrassed. And this was years later. This was like, probably 20 years or almost 20 years after it happened. But I decided I'm a grown woman now. I'm not going to be embarrassed about it. Hopefully it won't take you that long, but it took me a while. And so I handed out my testimony. I said, I'm not going to be embarrassed about it. And that very week, someone needed to hear it. I wasn't able to prevent it from it happening to her. She was a teenager. She got pregnant, and I wasn't able to help that not happen to her, because I didn't get obviously couldn't get to it in time. I didn't know that was happening. But she and her family, it helped them to hear my testimony, just to know that someone else had walked this road before. Someone else had came out on the other side, because here I am now, was married with 3 children. I was married to the person that it happened with, and had a successful business going, and you know, we were doing well. It took a while, but they could see someone who had walked this path before and had experienced the same things they were just now experiencing, and I was able to share my story and how I got through it, and see us come out on the other side, see that we were prospering and that we did get through it. And that mother told me how much that it helped her, and we bonded and made a friendship. And it just, you become instant friends. If you want instant friends, that's, you know, going through the same similar experiences. There's that person and another person that, you know, something that we share similar, you know, trials that really do bond you. And speaking of that, these predators, that's one way that they also bond you to them, is called trauma bonding, because trauma bonding is a real thing. That's what's connected me to some of these women, is that, you know, we have went through similar trials and we bonded. But with the predators, they create the trauma with you, and they trauma bond to you that way, because it does work. So, anyway, if you've been lured by a predator, I just want you to just say, what happened happened, who I was existed, or any trial or mistake that you made in your life. It doesn't have to be being lured by a predator, but any mistake that you've had in your life, own it. Don't let it own you. You own it, and go out there and share your testimony. Don't be ashamed. Say, you know, I'm growing as a person. That person existed, past tense. That's not who I am now. People grow and people change, and they do move on, and I'm not that person anymore, and this is who I am. And I want to share with you how to not let it happen to you. And if it has happened, I'm here for you, because I've walked that same road. I know that experience, and they can know they're not alone. That's what it was with that friend of mine. That very week that they needed to hear my testimony, they knew they were not alone. So go out there and make a difference, and share your testimony, and own your experiences, own your mistakes, and share them, so that they don't have to happen to anyone else, or they don't have to be alone going through it. And the next video I would like you to watch is warning signs of predators, so that you can help people know what signs to look for. I'll see you then.